They located something stellar orbit on Earth. It was a black device, and it was before Sputnik was even sent out. They located it. It was on radar, long range radar. That this was a device they do not know, and it's been there forever. And we're not saying that that device, with all the abilities that the time travel thing through the thing would could have been part of it. Because you got for a phone to work, you got to have something there, even in the past. It would be like a dead thing that has to have a two-way. You would think two-way communications. Everyone talked about the Dark Knight, but something was there before the Dark Knight came up, even.
Okay, so I just did that, and it said the most famous alleged device detected before the launch of Sputnik. Okay, so the legendary object known in popular culture and conspiracy circles as the Black Knight satellite. Now that yeah, is what it says. Now the Black Knight is actually a black object, so that most likely
Okay,
that
yeah.
most likely is what you're talking about there. According to lore, this was a mysterious dark object trapped in a polar orbit around Earth years
Mm-hmm.
before humans possessed the technology to launch anything into space.
Yeah.
So, um,
And they were just like how Sputnik now. Well, the not Sputnik, but the Dark Knight moving around now. You know.
yeah. Now, in 1954, newspaper reports, there was claims 3 years uh, before Sputnik, retired U.S. Marine Corps Major Donald Kehoe claimed that the U.S. Air Force had detected two artificial satellites orbiting the Earth. At the time, neither the U.S. nor the Soviet Union had the rocket power to achieve orbit. So that happened there, and then there was a long delayed one called the long delayed echoes, which was in the 1920s, where in 1927 and 1928 researchers and amateur radio operators in Norway detected strange radio echoes that bounced back seconds after being transmitted. Decades later, science fiction enthusiasts speculated these signals were being actively repeated by an ancient alien probe orbiting Earth. So that's kind of cool. So you get a lot of good stuff when it comes out of this stuff. It's pretty enjoyable.
Yeah.
Dan decided to go silent on us, I think.
Yeah.
He was in his bedrobe, so.
I'm still here.
Oh, okay. I guess he just knew he was listening.
Well, he knows that this is the weird stuff. He's not really much into the weird stuff. Are you,
Yeah,
Dan?
the thing that you read about some people in the 1940s and the 30s using something that looked like a cell phone. That was interesting.
Yeah, that actually, I didn't know
But
anything about
but
the.
but but it but you also said that they could be testing experimental mobile or wireless communication device at that
Mhm.
time.
Yeah,
That
but
doesn't say anything about them being potential time travelers, right?
Well, that was the DuPont thing. That's what came out afterwards. Like they had a list of all 10 of them where see they mentioned that with what's his face oh God, I cannot. Not Karl Marx, but the Marx Brothers behind the scenes thing with the mysterious device. But then they go into the one with DuPont. Well, that kind of explains both of them. You know what I mean? In my opinion, maybe that's what they were actually freaking using was that experimental device that DuPont was using. So, I mean, I guess there is evidence that that kind of technology was being researched back then, you
Right.
know? So, I mean, that is kind of interesting. So,
Well, yeah, but as well too, what like that Dark Knight, if it's the same one that from 19, well before the Sputnik came into the picture, it could have been a relayer of all of the what they were showing on there about the devices that people were talking or pictures and stuff like that, were like a two-way communications in time, like two-way computers.
well, I mean, the whole,
How in time? Interesting.
yeah,
So you mean like the device will communicate
Yeah,
through time?
yeah. Like it since that time, the device was already in the past, and it went and it's been there sitting there through the years. And if you're going back in the time, that device is always going to be there in that specific time. The
Yeah,
Dark
but if
Knight.
that device at that time will communicate with the signals of that time,
But
unless
you
you have
gotta be
some quantum device that can communicate through time, that's
well. No,
not a
no.
conventional device.
If you're in time, you're going back into a specific timeline, like 1920s, where the Dark Knight was there before that, but it can pick up that signal. You'd be able to talk back and forth to the Dark Knight device by with that cell phone, and take pictures as well or whatever. But the device would have a two-way thing for it helps with information, data collection, and all that about that specific time where you know what not to do and what to do.
No, if such a device exists, it'll be a very cool device. But that's not it wouldn't be a regular mobile
Well, no,
so
cell
hold on.
phone.
You're basically telling me that you would use the Dark Knight as a time traveling antenna to communicate back and
Yeah,
forth.
yeah. That's what it sounds like to me too.
well, it would be a time device. It would be because it
Well,
would
I
have
mean,
it in both ways.
the thing that I mean, even if it was just for like if you had technology that was unavailable during that time and you were trying to use it, then maybe you could use freaking the Black Knight as an antenna to bounce it off of it, or even maybe it would pick up the frequency of it and it would retain it later on, so that like somebody in the 1980s would hear this echo of technology that was being used back in the 1920s. You know what I'm saying? Like if time traveler traveled back to the 1920s and tried to use a device that was beyond that technology, it could still be freaking there from before. But even with the Black Knight, it's still speculative. People still argue if that actually exists.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm just kind of being hypothetical there. It is a pretty cool thought. I'm amazed you thought of that. That's pretty good. I think we should make a sci-fi movie. What do you think, Dan?
Yeah. The
And well, it's like what they
Hanson
found
brothers,
in New
just like the
Mexico.
Wachowski brother create the Matrix, you will you will create the what would you call it?
We'll call it Dark Knight.
The
The Dark
The Dark Knight of DNA. The dark DNA.
Well, the way this episode is going, I think you should leave naming to me because like you haven't figured out what you want to name your show. You just
Yeah, I know.
so. Oh, there's V. He's back.
I found some free time to be able to join the show. What are you guys doing?
We're talking about time
Talking
travel.
time travel.
Do we have it? Ooh, what a subject! I and I probably missed out on the whole scientific basis behind your guys' discussion.
No, there was absolutely no scientific basis whatsoever.
Don't yell at me, please.
Well, I did bring up a thing about, okay, they got a picture thing on there, but I brought it up about, okay, will you take year by, like every 5 or 10 years, the camera, in what way does it change? The, what do you call the pigment, I'm saying that right, ain't I? The color, the little square pixels. Okay, you take the pixels of that picture and you stop and think, what year was this picture made from, and the size of back then, the pixel, what size of the pixels was back then in like 1920s?
You're talking about like what paintings?
No, the picture. When you take a picture,
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
okay, and then you take the picture and you think of, okay, how many pixels were in this picture at 1920, and the color, the type of color it is. Okay.
I can
range
tell
of the
you.
camera, how far the camera can take that picture at 1920, and how good the pixels would, the thing. How many pixels would it take for the distance?
That's a very interesting concept because when I was in tech ed, I was okay. So we had a photo day, which was like we basically had to make a camera out of a shoebox and other materials. I was the only person in the class to get an A, the only person in the class to get a clear picture. I mean, clear.
Yeah.
And the negatives were just as beautiful and everything. And I never actually thought of that in terms of pixels because that's
Yeah.
digital. I mean, this is analog technology you're talking about right now in the
Yeah.
1920s, right?
Mm-hmm. Back then, they didn't have digital.
Right. I mean, the
And
concept of digital was
yeah,
it's not, it didn't exist.
yeah, I know.
Whether it happened or not. I mean, because obviously you have pigmentation on a easel or a photograph. So, you have a backdrop for something where the image is there and it has to be pixelated, right?
Yeah.
Even though it may be analog or not.
And you would think too, and okay, and for each, like I guess 5 or 10 years, in what way does the pixel, the lookout, the colors, how it changes through the years? Okay, how
You're talking about an aging photo.
well, no. I'm saying for the pixel, the size of the pickle, the things. What size are they through the years since the upgrade of the camera? How do they lay out to through the years? Do they get smaller, thinner? I mean, small, but still have a nice picture to it, more clearer.